Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, Season 2, Episode 22. Alright, you guys, don't forget to check out my merch down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump right into this episode. So, Utah ain't got no chili cheese Fritos? No ice cream trucks? How y'all live? Y'all got Cactus Cooler in Utah? Y'all ain't got no Cactus Cooler? Cactus Cooler is literally the best soda, and I never drink it because it's so delicious. It's pineapple and orange. It's an orange pineapple soda. Artificially flavored to perfection. All right, that's enough of that. Now onto my water. So let's start off with Andrea and Lamar. So in this episode, Andrea has gone from 0 to 10 real quick. This lady has decided that she is gonna show up, show out, and act up for these cameras, okay? Mama's gonna sit up here and have a conversation with Lamar in the beginning of the morning talking about, we about to stop at church first. And he's like, what? You made me not wanna be with you sometimes. And she's like, I'm just kidding. And I'm like, look, Andrea, you're not just kidding. Why does she think that shoving her religion down his throat is gonna work, okay? This is day 3 in Utah. He's just getting used to everything. He's trying to figure out how he's gonna still do his music and whatnot while he's in Utah. And she's trying to coerce him into being a Mormon. So he goes to drop her off to have lunch with her best friend, Michelle. And while she's with her best friend, she is conspiring to kidnap him and keep him in Utah. But on the way to meet with Michelle, she's like, you just don't like my friends. You don't like anything that's going on. And Lamar is just like, I'm not saying I don't like your friends, but what I'm saying is that every time I turn around, somebody's trying to baptize me or talk about missions. Like, that is not what I'm here for. I'm here for you to be with your friends and to have fun and to meet them, but I'm not converting to Mormonism. I'm not doing it. Andrea just can't get it through her head.
Would you be open to looking into it, though?
Man, the day I get converted to Mormonism, all my ancestors will roll over in their graves. My grandfather probably wake up and slap me some kind of way. I don't know. I'm not moving to Utah, and I'm not becoming no Mormon for sure.
Lamar's like, look, I feel like I need to click my heels and get up out of here. Like I'm Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Like it's time to go. So Lamar drops her off and he goes back to the house, presumably to get his music on. She's there with Michelle and tells Michelle like, hey, you have to help me get him to stay in Utah because this is where I belong. Now that I'm here, I realize that this is where I belong. And Michelle is like, you know what? Have you talked to him about this? Because when I spoke to him yesterday, he didn't seem like, and Andrea's like, oh no, but yesterday was only our 2nd day here. And then I was like, so you're saying that now that today is his 3rd day here, that you feel him coming closer and closer to wanting to stay in Utah, even though you just had a conversation with him in the car where he told you that he was over this whole Mormonism conversation? What is Andrea talking about? What planet is Andrea living on? Even Michelle says it. Michelle's like, I'll help you, but this sounds like some weird sneaky stuff. Like you've come up with some schemes before, but this takes the cake. Because Andrea tells Michelle that she has his birth certificate and that she's spoken to his parole officer and that she's already looking for a place to stay. So Andrea has decided that she's gonna take matters into her own hand and force the situation. Michelle's like, you can't take that man's birth certificate and debit card. That is kidnapping. And she's like, it's not kidnapping and I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't think it's crazy at all. And Michelle's like, but that's your husband. You need to have that conversation with him. You've gone through a lot to be with this person and you don't want to ruin it because you're being sneaky. This seems like some Jerry Springer stuff. And Andrea is like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, okay, girl, Andrea, we get what you're doing for the cameras. We feel it. You're striking up drama because there is no drama to be had. Lamar is blindsided by this drama, girl, okay? Because the next day, she is at his house and he's looking on his phone, you know, he looks like they've just gotten up for the morning. She's like, we're not going back to LA. And he's like, what? You crazy. And she's like, no, I'm serious. We are not going back to LA. What you mean we not going back to LA? How you gonna keep me here? Well, I have your ID and debit cards and I spoke to your parole officer. You ain't got my ID or my debit card. What you talking about? Girl, give me my ID. Give me my cards. What you doing? You give me my stuff. No. we're gonna stay here. I've already talked to your parole officer, and she said that you can parole in Utah. What do you mean my parole officer said I can parole in Utah? She can't just make that decision. Well, it's happening. When Andrea was talking to Michelle, she referred to LA as the slums, specifically the part of LA that they're living in. And I was like, no. What is the slums? Like what? The slums? I mean, sometimes you have streets that are a little like, okay, we don't go down Jackson. You know what I'm saying? But like the slums? Sis, the area that they live in is not bad at all. Like when he first came back out of prison and that house they rolled up in, that is not the slums. And I'm just so sick of her talking about LA, talking about Lamar's culture of LA as though it is so beneath her that she can't even understand or stand it. It's annoying. They go downstairs. He's still talking to her, asking for his stuff back. And she's like, I'm not giving it back to you. And he's like, man, you acting like a crazy bitch. And she's like, why would you speak to me like that? And he says, because you were acting like a crazy bitch. Like you doing some crazy bitch shit. Give me my credit card. Give me back my stuff. And she's like, I'm gonna have a conversation with you through the bathroom door. And she goes into the bathroom, locks it. And he's like, man, Andrea, come out here. Give me my stuff. You not about to keep me in Utah. Give me my ID and my stuff. And she's like, stop it, and starts to cry. And I was like, this woman better not pretend on TV that her husband is coming at her aggressive when she knows that he is on parole. She is playing games right now, dangerous games that don't need to be played. Okay, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Tracy and Clint. Didn't much happen with this episode. I don't know what was going on. It looks like they were going to the chapel to get their vows renewed. Tracy made a joke about going to do drugs. It got Clint upset. He walked away from her, was gone for like 30 minutes. So she's like, I don't know where he went. It feels like he didn't want to renew his vows, but instead of saying he didn't want to, he decided to get upset about something stupid that I said. He comes back. She's upset. He's like, you owe me an apology. And she's like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you so upset? And he's like, stop joking about things like that. And it's just like, this episode was just so unnecessary for them. It's like we might as well not even saw them. They ended up just going into the chapel, hugging it out, say they love each other and they hate each other at the same time, and like whatever, girl, to go renew their vows. We don't even see them renewing their vows. So like that was their episode, and let's move on to the next. Brittany and Marcelino. Okay, so now Brittany, this is something that I've noticed from Brittany ever since I started watching her on TV. She is a mouth breather. I don't know if there is something wrong with her nostrils or her nasal passage, but it always seems like she's got her mouth open and then she closes her mouth when she's like, needs to swallow spit or something. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that, but anyways, there's that. I just had to say it, you know? We're almost done with this season. We might not see her again, and I would like to point out that I think her nasal passages are clogged. So she is in the car with Marcelina and they're on their way to the lawyer's office, and she is smoking and is just like, this is not what I wanted at all. And you know, I can't even believe this is happening. And he's just like very apologetic. He isn't even arguing with her, right? At this point, he knows that he's messed up and he's formally acknowledged and apologized for his role in this. And they get to the lawyer's office and the lawyer is just like, well, we had plan A and then we had plan B, which was your plan. And we see how that went. And Marcelino didn't have shit to say because they're absolutely right. The lawyer had a plan in effect and Marcelino took it into his own hands because he wanted to be such a masculine man about it. And now they're going to have to go to court and fight. And honestly, I do think that they have a case because they've had Gio for so long. And honestly, like I was talking about it with my siblings and we all think that Tito is going through it. I don't know if he's on drugs. I don't know if he's abusing alcohol, but something is up with Tito. He might be sick. Like, I don't know what is wrong with Tito, but he's definitely lost all the mass that he had, all of his muscle. He's looking real haggard and bad. He had on a polo and like some cargo pants. And I was like, who is this person compared to the person that we saw in the first episode? So yeah, the jury's out, but we, the Lino children, feel like something going down with Tito and it might be drugs. Sorry, I just had to have some.
So delicious.
So lawyer has a game plan. They're going to go to court and they're going to fight. The next scene we have is right before their court case, Marcelino and Brittany decide that they're going to have a picnic with the family all together. Brittany's mom is there. They didn't get any interviews with Brittany's mom and I wanted to see her and hear her. She's a redhead too. Amanda gets there and they have a side conversation about what's going down. Gio doesn't know that anything is happening. And Brittany's nervous and she's worried, and her and Amanda are talking about it. Marcelino has shaved his face and I absolutely hate it. Boo. I hate it. I love a man with facial hair. I don't care. You need facial hair. They all do. Every single one of them need facial hair. I don't care if they can't grow it. They need to attempt to grow it and then do something with what they do have. My opinion. Basically, everybody's nervous and they wanted to get together one last time to celebrate family and have a good time before things might get torn apart. And, you know, that's all they can do. All right, so the next couple that we're going to talk about, Scott and Lizzie. This whole scene was very confusing to me because it felt like we saw part of Lizzie as the human she is, and then we saw Lizzie as like the produced person that she is. So we start off with Charlene, Lizzie in a bathrobe, like Lizzie in a towel still, girl hasn't changed her clothes, and Scott in the living room, and Charlene has gone to the drugstore to get drug test. And, you know, she tells Lizzie, here you go, just pee in it and I'll handle it. Because, you know, she is a medical assistant or something. You know, she got her medical assistance degree. So she's about to go and do what she knows how to do and test the strips and see if Lizzie and Scott are on drugs. Now, Scott says he can't go right now because he doesn't have to pee, which I call BS. Scott is in his 60s. I'm sure he has to pee every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes. Like, so I don't know what he's talking about that he can't pee. Lizzie says that she's going to go into the bathroom with him because she already did her business. She says she's been in prison for 10 years. She can pee on command. And all of her shit came back as clean as a whistle. So she's like, Scott, your turn. She goes into the bathroom with him to help him. And she's like, look, we got to do this. You know, you either going to tell me the truth or you're going to take the test. Either way we go, we're coming out of here understanding. And she's like, you want me to put the water on? She puts the water on. He's standing there. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, I can't piss. And I was like, ugh, God, I can't be with you. I can't be with people who say that word. Like, not take a S nor piss. I can't. It's just like the most vulgar way to say what is already a gross and vulgar act. He's in there and then he closes the door and he's like, I can't take the test. I can't take the test. I'm not going to pass it. I'm not going to pass it. And she's like, what? You're not? And he's like, no, I messed up. I really messed up, man. I messed up. And she's just like, well, Scott, like, he's like, I need you to help me. I need you to help me. I just need you to help me. And she's like, Scott, okay, yeah, I will help you. I just need your help. I can't do it by myself. I just messed up. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Scott, don't worry. We'll get you an inpatient treatment. It'll be fine. And all of a sudden we're seeing like a different side of her. And then they come out and he tells Charlene that he wasn't going to be able to pass it. And Charlene's just like, why didn't you tell me? Like, why haven't we had this conversation before? And Lizzie's kind of somber at this point. And she's just like, you know what? I'm going to go change. And so she goes into the back and she changes. And while she's gone, Charlene says, you told her that you couldn't get rid of me? And he's like, I don't remember saying that. And I'm just like, oh God, Scott is so gross. And so anyways, Lizzie comes back out and she's like, I'm gonna go because, you know, you just dropped a bomb on me. And he's like, fine. Nobody loves me anyway. Everybody just walks out on me. You don't have to stay and help me. Nobody does. Ah! And Charlene is like, what are you talking about? Nobody does. I have been here with you from the jump and I will continue to be here and support you. Don't say that nobody supports you, Scott. Nobody does. Nobody loves me. And Lizzie's like, you just dropped a bomb on me. Okay, I gotta go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave. So she gets up and leaves and Scott's like, you're not coming back. You ain't coming back. You don't care about me. And Lizzie's like, Scott, I'm coming back tomorrow, okay? And he goes back in the house and he's upset. She comes back the next day. She's got a game plan going on where she's just going to talk in circles and accuse him of things and be crazy and mean. And it's just so uncouth. It just doesn't feel right. He comes out and she says, Scott, I can't be with you. You lied to me. And then he's like, I know I lied to you because I didn't want to lose you. And then she's like, why didn't you tell me the truth? And he's like, because I didn't want to lose you. You'd be mad. And she's like, once an addict, always an addict. And an addict has to choose to want to be clean. And he's like, no, I do want to be clean. I want to be clean. She's like, no, let's just be honest right now. And he's like, I am being honest. I want to give you whatever it is you want. I'll go into treatment. I just need you here. If you hadn't gone in the first place, I wouldn't have started using drugs. And she's like, no, that's not my fault. I can't live here. I can't be here. My parole officer comes here and you're over there doing drugs in the back. Who's going to go to prison? Who's going to go to prison? Me. And he's like, I wouldn't do drugs if you were here. She's like, me, I would go to prison. And we're just like, they're having two separate conversations because Lizzie's not acknowledging that he's apologizing and he's saying he's wrong and that why he didn't do it. He's answering all her questions, giving her everything she wants, and she just keeps talking around in circles so that she can make a scene for WeTV and Matt Sharp Entertainment. And then they have this confessional moment where he busts out all of this evidence, I guess her letters and all the credit cards that he's run up. And she's just like, no, I can never be with you. I can't be with an addict. It's not good for my sobriety. And like, no, and I'm not your girlfriend. I'm like, excuse me, miss, you were just telling Charlene that you were his girlfriend and that you had his ring. And then now you're outside telling him that you're not his girlfriend, and then you're on camera in front of the producers like, oh, you're not my boyfriend, I need to be by myself. And he gets upset, he brings out the letters, she rips them up and throws them. And then he throws the rest of the letters at her and starts dumping out all the credit cards that he has run up to buy things for her, and gets upset, throws the chair and calls her a tramp. And she pops up as though she's now so like upset and offended. I'm like, you can dish it, miss, but you can't take it. It's too much. Lizzie's doing too much for the camera. Whew, girl, I'm glad that you were able to follow me on that. If you did not watch the episode, you might have got a little lost within there somewhere, but going ahead, just know that I'm right and know that that's what happened. The last couple that we're going to talk about, the throuple. Megan, not Marco, Michael, and Sara. So we have Sara. She is in Flint, Michigan. She's rented a house. Producers have rented a house for her. And she's with Rain and Aviana, and they're getting ready for Michael to come over. She's excited for Michael to meet Rain, and I'm excited for Michael to meet Rain too. I think that's going to be a really sweet moment, and it actually was a really sweet moment. So Dad gets there, Mike, and Aviana's really excited. She goes to the door, lets him in, jumps on him, and Aviana, girl, she is struggling with Rain being there, okay? She is jealous of that baby. So Sara lets Mike know that that's what's going on, and is just like, you know, let's try to like give Aviana some time. Obviously, I know you want time with the baby, but Aviana needs your attention right now. And they go to start coloring, and Sara's, you know, being amicable about it, if that's the word that I can use in that scenario. She's being good about it. She's not arguing. She's, you know, being open. Mike goes in to try to kiss her, and she gives him like a side like kiss situation. She said it took her off guard, and she is still having doubts about the divorce, but she does want Aviana and Rain and them to have like some family time. So he goes down and sits down and colors with Aviana and says to her, you know, we got to talk about our situation without the kids being here. And Sara, you know, is in agreement. And then he's like, let's go have dinner today. And she's just like, who's going to watch the kids? And he says my mom would come over and watch them. I already talked to them about it. And, you know, would you go out to dinner with me? And she's just like, that's very presumptuous of you to like assume that I would want to do that. Look at you over there. Because I guess he's kind of like smiling and licking his lips or whatever. And it kind of annoys her because she's just like, I wanted to do family things. Like, I don't want to necessarily talk about our thing, I guess, in this trip. I'm not quite sure because Sara gets upset and I don't understand why she's upset. So if you guys have an understanding of why she got upset the way she did, please leave it down below. So then she says, honestly, I actually don't want to go out, which I thought was a good move, especially if she thought that he was going to try to game her. So she's like, you know, I really don't want to go out tonight. And he's like, no, I'm cool not going out too. And she's like, okay, I'm done. I can't anymore. And I'm just like, what? I don't understand what happened. He's agreeing with you, like, okay, we don't have to go out. I don't know if the assumption was that they don't go out and they're gonna Netflix and chill, and that was her being annoyed by that. But she's like, Mike, I don't want to talk about it. And he gets upset. He's like, I don't want to talk about this in front of the kids. They start to argue in front of the kids. I just don't understand why. That is not the cardinal rule for every parent, is to not argue in front of the kids. Like, if you're going to argue, put the baby down, tell Aviana to chill and go outside. Like, and try to like maintain some kind of civility. But she is so upset, girl, that she just can't do it. And he's like, Sara, it's time for us to talk about getting a divorce. And she's looking at him like, and I'm just like, Sara, girl, you got the papers. This is your perfect moment. And I think maybe she was hoping that he would be on his knees and he would act a certain way, and he's just not giving her what she wants. And so I think she just was just taken aback by it. But we'll see what happens in the next episode. That's where the episode ends. And then we go over to, oh, sad ass Megan. Like, I don't even know what Megan's segment was about. She's like, I wish the baby wasn't his, then we could move on, and this and that. Like, I just don't, like, Megan's like, I haven't really thought about what went down. I haven't really processed it. I'm just trying to figure out where our relationship is. It's hard to not love him, and my family thinks that I can do better than him. But I don't think it's about that. I think it's about how the person makes me feel. I'm like, girl, you almost 30 years old. What is you talking about? This is a whole grown-ass man who's married with 2 kids. This is more than you just being able to do better than for yourself. This is a trifling ass nigga that you want to build a life with. You've never actually lived in the same area as him. You don't know his habits. Michael is the type of nigga that just want to be out in the streets, hanging out, doing whatever he wants to do, and then come home being the family man whenever he wants to be it. Like, he doesn't understand how the family unit works because he hasn't seen an example of it. You want to give all that you know and you expect out of a partner away to be with Mike? Sis, I'm gonna need you to watch some Iyanla Fix My Life or something. You need to get your life together. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. Let's have a kiki and a conversation down below. Let me know what I missed in this episode. I'm so excited for next week's episode. It's going to be so good. And then after that, we get a brand new season. Aren't you guys excited? I'm excited. I hope you'll come along with me for the ride. All right, you guys, remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. I still get excited when I hear the ice cream truck. I still get excited. Girl, I need to give me some Lucas, you know what I'm saying? Maybe like a push pop. You know? Like, where do you get your snacks? On a summer day, ice cream truck come down. Strawberry shortcake. Even just like a, what's that basic one called? With the vanilla in the inside and the two cakes of chocolate on top. Right. Oh, cool. I want that too.